Hi everyone! So, 2017 has been a really crazy year here in Sweden, huh? Jesus became gender neutral. Thanks to mass immigration, the police became so underfunded they can't investigate rapes of children. And Sweden got its first successful terror attack. Yay! The fruits of multiculturalism are being plucked. Then after the terror attack, everyone gathered to praise open borders and talk about how love beats terrorism. Not guns, love. But before that happened, Trump talked about Sweden, at which point every journalist and politician in Sweden came together to try and refute him. Because we don't have any problems here in Sweden. Not any real problems, at least. That's why just a few days after Trump's speech, there was a riot in a ghetto. And just a few months after, people died in a terrorist attack in Sweden. Because Sweden is evolving for the better and not the worse. Thank God Trump mentioned Sweden, because it really made the whole world look at our country, at which point some people discovered how fucking ridiculous it is. I talk about Sweden because I want to improve it. It's kind of like having a junkie friend. Like, what do? Do you just stay silent and let them keep on with their destructive ways? Or do you give him a good scolding and tell him exactly what the fuck he's doing wrong? If you really care about someone, you will tell them when they're fucking up. I have to say though, the most insane thing that's happened all year in this country is the tie-dye witch phenomenon. Batikhexa, as we call them. Middle-aged leftist women fucking refugee children that aren't really children. The biggest scam in modern Swedish history. The cost for all of these refugee children, there's like 40,000 of them here in Sweden. Taking care of them cost as much as taking care of like hundreds of thousands of people in like a large portion of the Middle East. You really gotta talk about how the money isn't being used efficiently. Sweden really doesn't try helping as many people as possible, and as I've explained before, it's because of the banking system and the money system and the fact that all money is debt. And so importing people that you can enslave in debt somehow saves the economy. Can you believe it? I can't, but it is. Just temporarily though. Things are gonna get really bad financially, and I don't look forward to it. But it's just sick to me, you know, how there's like this pattern of these leftist social worker women fucking refugee children, and the media isn't saying a fucking word about it. Pun intended. If it was male social workers doing the same with female refugees, I don't think the media would have been as silent. This really is the most underreported story of the year. I mean, even in like YouTube anti-SJW circles, I haven't seen Paul Joseph Watson talk about this, haven't seen Milo really mention it, haven't seen Sargon talked about it. I've done the most extensive videos and research on it, you could say. Alternative media have done a few articles here and there, but in general, I really feel like this is like, you know, the Catholic Church pedophilia scandal. Imagine that level of depravity and corruption, but with the left. That's what this is, the tie-dye witch phenomenon. And I don't feel like it's being talked enough. And I haven't made a video about this yet, but I'm gonna. There's a third video on the way. Okay, about how these tie-dye witches got together and bullied a 14-year-old rape victim because the perpetrator is an Afghan migrant that they like and an immigrant activist. You just don't get much more fucked up than that. Those women should be sent down to ISIS. They wouldn't view it as rape, because it kind of seems like, according to them, minorities can't rape. Because rape is about power. So a non-white raping a white woman isn't rape, it's just a temporary suspension of privilege. Then we have the whole Me Too thing, and that whole thing really, it was interesting, it was funny. You have this hashtag, Me Too, completely decentralized. Anyone can accuse anyone of anything, and yet it's mostly leftist feminist men that are being accused of rape, sexual assault, and molestation. I'm kind of sensing a pattern there. Ironic. It's very ironic, and it's very interesting how it's going to affect the public debate, because they don't get to do guilt by association anymore. That's something I really feel is interesting that happened in 2017. Me Too revealed a disturbing pattern with left-wing feminist men, which is gonna have an effect on debating, because anytime they try to pull guilt by association on you, saying you're a Nazi because you want to decrease immigration, well, you can just say that they're one of those creepy feminist guys that only really believes in feminism because they want to get pussy. And if the left tries to tie you to some dirty shit, well, you can easily do the same by pointing to all of the rapists on their side. It's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder you're defending so-called rape-fugees. You're just as fucking bad yourself. Now when it comes to my channel, I'm not happy. Because I'm not even reaching half of my subscribers. Because YouTube is so fucking retarded, they can't even manage to get right the one thing, though. They can't even get their subscription system to do the most basic, simple function imaginable, which is to notify subscribers! Not to mention the apocalypse, which pretty much killed my revenue, so I don't even have ads turned on at this point. I don't even bother. Because as you saw in my statistics video, which I released recently, it's a fucking joke. I don't really make any money off of YouTube videos and ads anymore, so why bother? I'd rather turn off ads and provide a less annoying viewing experience for my audience, and people who care can donate via Patreon, Maker Support, Bitcoin, whatever. And I don't have to turn on my ads, and thus bringing in money to the site that likes to fuck me up the ass, which is YouTube. Speaking of anal play, I got a shitposting channel now, so feel free to give that one a look if you get depressed by politics every now and then and need something to cheer you up. I think this might work. Anyway, I got my patrons, so at the end of the day, I'm all good. You people help keep me afloat. What do you mean, you people? And regardless of my trivial insignificance in the greater scheme of things, I still feel like the culture war as a whole is heading in the right direction. More and more people are getting tired of these regressive suicidal policies, feminism, SJWs, and radical bullshit. Multiculturalism. And I noticed that people like Sargon of Akkad, Paul Joseph Watson, and Milo are doing really good for themselves. The latter is basically a superstar at this point, and while I might not always agree with these people, sometimes I aggressively disagree, I still feel like they're, as a whole, on the right side of the culture war. So despite all the terrible shit that's happening, I actually feel like the world is heading towards a better place, kind of. As long as people keep waking up, as long as people keep speaking, because that's the important. I've also noticed an interesting trend in the Swedish media, which is that they're basically getting more and more red-pilled, which is of course a bullshit front. They're doing it because it makes them money, because the alternative media is stealing their audience. But the fact remains, they're still changing, and they're changing after the market, and the market is the people. So they are changing after the people, meaning the people have the power. Because everyone, even if you don't have a voice in society, you still have the power as a consumer, the power of your own wallet. You get to choose what you spend your money on, and money runs the world. At the end of the day, it's all about the money. So if the mainstream media can't get any fucking money, they're gonna die. See what I'm getting at here? Throw your money at people you like, and the alternative media that you like. I kinda wish I was a rapist, because if I was a rapist, Sweden would have really been a safe haven for me. I could fuck so much 13-year-old pussy with no consent, and I would get food, house over my head, and I think prison has permanent employment too. I'm just trying to say that if you're a rapist, Sweden really is the place to go. If you're a upstanding citizen who bothers like doing right by himself, paying taxes, and trying to do good for society, Sweden is not the place for you. Sweden is gonna piss you off. So here we are. Also, I have like 5 books in the works, so hopefully I can release 1 or 2 maybe in 2018. They're gonna be both in Swedish, first Swedish, then English. So yeah, kinda have a problem finding publishers there. I don't look forward to that bureaucratic nightmare. In English, I guess I could self-publish through Amazon or contact Milo and hope he responds. In Swedish, I've just been able to find Nazi companies. And I don't feel like making Nazis money, but decent liberals wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole, so that's quite the predicament for an immigrant of Muslim stature. If I end up becoming a Nazi, blame the left. Happy New Year! Boop.